You're looking for a night vision tool that actually works when you need it, not just a gadget that sounds impressive on paper. You want something you can slap on a hunting trip, a security patrol, or even a backyard wildlife watch and feel confident it won't quit on you, won't need a PhD to figure out, and won't leave a dent in your wallet. The biggest fear is ending up with a thermal monocular that promises crisp heat signatures but ends up delivering a blurry mess or a battery that dies after a few minutes, forcing you to go back to the drawing board or, worse, miss that crucial moment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Pulsar Axion XQ30 Pro is the brand's entry-level thermal monocular, and it's built around a 384x288 sensor that sits in the sweet spot between entry and mid-range devices. The first thing I asked myself when I started looking into it was, can it give me a clear enough picture to actually identify a target at the distances I care about, and will it stay on long enough to be useful? The answer, after digging through the spec sheet, watching a handful of unboxing videos, and scrolling through the sparse community chatter, is that it hits a practical balance for certain users, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Let's break down the everyday scenario most people face. Imagine you're out hunting early morning, the light is barely a whisper, and you're trying to spot a deer moving through the brush. With a traditional night vision scope, you're fighting a grainy image that can be thrown off by a sudden flash of light. With a thermal monocular, you're looking for that warm silhouette against the cooler background. The Axion XQ30's advanced thermal imaging chip does a decent job of pulling those silhouettes out, especially within the 600-meter sweet spot that most hunters consider good enough for a first shot. The picture isn't cinematic, but the contrast is solid enough to tell a deer from a rock or a low-lying branch, which is the kind of practical distinction you need in the field. What sets this unit apart in terms of everyday usability is how user-friendly it really feels. The controls are laid out on a single side, with a single button for power, a rotary dial for zoom, and a simple menu button that brings up a minimal overlay. In real life, that means you don't have to fumble with a touchscreen while you're crouched behind a tree. You can toggle between a few preset color palettes like black hot and red hot depending on the ambient temperature, which helps you keep the image readable when you're moving from a cool, misty meadow into a sun-warmed clearing. The learning curve is essentially a few minutes of playtesting, not a week of reading manuals. Durability is another claim the brand makes, and it holds up when you treat the device like any other piece of field gear. The housing is made from a high-impact polymer with a rubberized grip, so it survives the occasional bump against a log or a drop from a low branch. I saw a video where someone accidentally slipped the monocular out of a pocket while climbing a hill. It landed on a rock and kept working. That kind of resilience matters when you're in a situation where you can't afford to pause and repair equipment. It's also small enough to slip into a tactical belt pouch, making it portable for those who need to move quickly. Power is where a lot of thermal devices stumble, but the Axion XQ30 packs a respectable 2-hour runtime on its rechargeable lithium-ion pack under typical use. That's enough for a morning hunt or a night patrol, provided you're not constantly cranking the zoom to the maximum. The device also includes an auto shut-off after a period of inactivity, which conserves battery life and adds a layer of protection against accidental drain. If you're the type who forgets to charge gear overnight, you'll want to keep a spare battery handy, but you won't be chasing a wall outlet every few hours like you would with cheaper units. Now, let's talk about who should actually consider buying this thing. If you're an avid hunter or a wildlife enthusiast who already uses a rifle scope and just wants a lightweight add-in for those low-light moments, the Axion XQ30 can slot nicely into your kit. It's also a solid entry point for security professionals who need a handheld thermal viewer for quick sweeps of a perimeter, especially in environments where a full-size thermal rifle scope would be overkill. The price point places it below many of the higher-resolution thermal rifle scopes, so you get a respectable image without breaking the bank. On the flip side, if you're looking for a device that will let you identify a human target at 1,200 feet or track small game at extreme distances, you'll probably feel the sensor's limits. The 384x288 resolution, while adequate for medium range, won't give you the pixel-perfect clarity that a higher resolution model provides. Similarly, if you need a rugged unit that can survive